In my career and in my life, I've been in a lot of panel discussions, and I'm not going to lie to you. I just hear people just talking, blabbing. Nobody's telling us frameworks, giving us practical examples of how to get things done. It's just very generic, started at the bottom, now we're here kind of story. No, 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 no. We're going to go a bit real. We're going to go raw. We're going to go deep, okay? And I would go step by step as I ask my questions. And I urge my panelists, please be honest, be real. The online community are watching as well. So the world is actually watching this panel. And we want a situation whereby somebody would say, no, 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 no. I learned so much from this particular session. So first things first, let me just ask, the first question I have to ask is how do I start? Where do you think we should start from? Should we start from the end or from the beginning? How do you think we should start? Ladies first. Are you sure? Are you very sure? Okay. So I think I'll start with Mr. Dare. I'll just take it one after the other. And please, there's going to be a Q&A session after this. So please get out your pen and your paper so that you can take your notes. Mr. Dare. So first of all, I'd like to ask you a question. The Builders community is a community of professionals and entrepreneurs. And most high-performing people like us struggle with love because of the pace, pressure, or fear. What is the biggest relationship blind spot among ambitious professionals and entrepreneurs? And how can they fix it? And what has been your biggest statistical observation when matching professionals and entrepreneurs?
Thank you for this invite. It's really nice being here today. And a round of applause to everybody here. So I'll say like the biggest blind spot for like business people would be a lot of people tend to approach their relationships like it's a business project. You know, in terms of, you know the way businesses are structured, the way you think point A to point B, you do a lot of analysis, you have a checklist, and it's literally not like that. While the relationship fails, they treat it like it's a business. They avoid like the emotional intimacy when it comes to trying to meet with people, and they always like basically have a checklist. You know, you have like deal breakers, you ask people on the first day, it's like a turn off for a lot of people. So I would say that one of the blind spots is that don't treat your relationships like it's a business proposal or a business project. Make sure that you leverage more on emotional intimacy because that leads to a better relationship. Also, one of the blind spots would also be a lot of business people tend to abandon and not put as much energy in the relationships as they do in their businesses. That's like one of them, what I'll say was one of the major flaws when it comes to finding a spouse. You don't put as much energy as you put in your business. Like when you want to start a business, you build your business proposals, you send out like mails to people that you want them to invest in your company. That's the same way you should put that same energy when you're looking for a spouse. Put in that same energy that you put in when you're looking for a business. You know, a lot of people tend to fail and give up because they don't get that outcome. But ask yourself this question: if you were going to start a business and if you failed once, would you quit or would you continue? That's the same mindset you should have when you're looking for a spouse.
In fact, please can you put your hands together for Dari? Because I'm just trying to be very honest here. Now there's something I don't think I've said publicly before, but I met my husband through Dari. I did. And let me be very honest with you. Why I chose that particular question was because as an executive and as a professional, I'm so busy. We're so busy. Our lives are triangulated from the office to the house to maybe your church. So everything is, it's not like before when you're walking on the road and a guy will say, baby girl, can I have your number? Those days are almost gone because We're in the digital age. So when it was time for me to seek something meaningful, I went to Dari because that is what he does. He already has a list of potential matches of people that are also interested in marriage. So what it does is that it reduces your time to waste your time. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Look at the way you came for this session. Everybody you were networking with was not looking at you like a mad person. They also came to network, correct? So that's the same thing about relationships, meeting people who are at the same wavelength as you. And this is a very important topic. He said, initially he said, don't treat it like a business, but he also used the same mouth to say, treat it like a business. Because the same way you're going out to network your product, you are a product in someone else's life. Are we together? You have to also sell yourself as a product if you're looking for a meaningful relationship. Thank you very much for that response, Dari.
I like to buttress on that point. You know, when business owners tend to be vulnerable in their businesses, a lot of people interpret that as weakness. You know, and when I say don't treat it like a business, in your relationship, one of the foundations of trust is being vulnerable. And you need to be vulnerable when you want to meet a spouse or you want to meet people. So when I said don't treat it like a business, I meant it from that perspective. So businesses, yes, you don't want to show your vulnerability because you show signs of weakness. But in terms of relationships, you need to show that vulnerability because that leads to trust and it leads to a better relationship.
That's amazing. Please put your hands together for yourselves. Like I said, we're going to have a session where we'll ask questions to the panelists directly. The next person I'm going to be asking is Mr. Seun, the finance man. And I want to ask a very real, honest question. The first thing I want to ask you, Seun, is that you started out as a professional. You had a job, like most of us here. And please, I would like to demystify, and I'm even saying to those online, I don't want to use my ear to hear and quit your 9 to 5 for entrepreneurship. Not everybody is supposed to be an entrepreneur. Are we together? So please, let's stop that thing. The world runs on professional. So if there's no professional, nobody is doing 9 to 5. So who will be police? Who will be teacher? Are we together? Who will be all these things? So it's very important that we demystify that. Seun, I want to understand your transition from being a professional to now being an entrepreneur. What was that moment like for you? How did you start your business? How much did you use to start? Like, what was that moment that you said, I think this company I'm working in, I think it's time to now start my own thing? What was that moment like for you?
Okay. Thank you very much, Jen. Thank you very much, builders. I really appreciate this opportunity to speak here today. Okay, so yeah. So the whole process took a very long time, and it wasn't just a sudden decision. I mean, I stayed in my 9 to 5 up to the point when I was very sure that, this was the next step for me to take. And one of the things I would say made it easy for me to make that decision was the level of knowledge I was able to gather, right? Experience. And it's not really about capital, right? It's not about just money. If you have money and you don't have knowledge, you are going to lose that money. So regardless of any kind of business you get yourself into, manufacturing, sales, whatever it is, I'm in the capital markets, right? And from my own point of view, from the capital market point of view, one of the very important things is your integrity, right? You must have a very good personality. People must trust you, right? You must be a very trustworthy person. So that's what integrity really stands for. People can trust you. Your word is your bond, right? And, human capital is very, very important because you have people in different areas of finance that are gatekeepers. And once you can have these people on your side, it's very easy for you to leverage on that relationship, right? Use the knowledge you've acquired, probably take some risk, and then get some returns from it.
Seun, I have to stop here. I'm so sorry. You are going generic a bit. Seun, at what point did you wake up and just say, you know what, this is it? And how did you now start to set up your own brokerage?
So what I'm just trying to say here is, I've been in this market for about 14 years, right? So, and I've been on my own just for 2 years, right?
You've been what?
I've been on my own starting
For
my own
2
for just
years.
2 years. So I took my time to study, how the market is. I took my time to build the relationships. And with those two things, most especially, I was able to give myself like a revenue target, right? To say, you know what, I expect to make X amount of money. If I don't make X amount of money, it doesn't make sense for me to
leave
be
the
by
job.
myself.
Yes.
No, I've left. Yeah, I've left. But I know it wouldn't be so difficult for me to get another job because I already have the experience. I know my skills are very much sought after. In fact, I get job offers every time or partnership offers. A lot of companies reach out to me. There's a company talking to me at the moment, trying to see how we can partner on wealth management. It comes every time, but I might not be very interested because I have a goal and I have certain, plans for the future, what I've set out to do. So, but maybe in the near future, I might consider some of those things. But for now, I'm trying to build an institution, and that is what is most important. So let me just answer the question very simply. So I set out, a revenue target for myself.
Sorry, where were you working before? Were you in the banking industry, or what industry
Also,
are
I've
you
worked
in?
across industries, but the most important thing is that I'm more focused on the capital markets. So when I say I work across industries, I've been in investment banking, I've been in banking, and I've also been in telecoms. And in all these industries, I've worked in treasury, right, managing funds for institutionals. And by doing this, I've been able to build relationship with probably all the banks in Nigeria. So when it was time to start my own business, it was very easy for me to leverage on those relationships. Now, the thing is, when you know people, you can only capitalize on those relationships when you have something to offer, and that's your expertise. So you're not just going there asking for a favor when you have nothing to offer. What are you bringing to the table? So I already had a plan of what I was going to bring to the table for these individuals in exchange for what I also wanted to get from them to support my business, to make sales, and make the revenue that I needed to convince myself to stay self-employed and not go for another job.
I like what did you guys hear what Sean just said? So first of all, he had to stay in the job. A lot of people or builders prematurely leave their companies in the quest for, entrepreneurship. But he took it a step further by saying, look, if I'm starting this thing, correct, and I'm unable to earn X, it doesn't make sense to me. I can't now take a business and I'm now in debt. So as much as, people will tell you, come out of your comfort zone, venture into entrepreneurship, etc., you have to do it with a lot of caution and a lot of wisdom to make sure that you are ready for it. Thank you.
Just one more thing to add.
Please
So
do.
literally, let's say I was earning just a figure, 10 million naira annually. I'd already saved that amount of money, at least. So you know that you're going to pay yourself for that whole year.
This is how finance
Right.
people think.
You have to pay yourself for that whole year if things don't go
If
well.
things don't go well.
Right? And after doing that, you also give yourself a target. So you were earning 10 million. You need to earn double of that to make it more reasonable for you not to stay in a job. That means what you're doing now is better off than where you're coming from. So that makes more sense. Or else you should just go back to what you were doing.
Exactly.
So if you're not going to make that kind of revenue or that kind of income, then it's not justified for you to have left what you were doing before. But you always have to have savings. It's very important.
See,
You must have
builders,
savings.
I'm so in love with this conversation because a lot of times we like to over spiritualize things. And builders, you know me here when we're in meetings and I just say my mind. I'm not Sister Jennifer. A lot of pressure and challenges you're experiencing now in your life is just because you lack knowledge or basic intelligence. Finance people are very big on numbers. Their level of faith is very almost minimal because they are looking at black and white. I want to leave my job. How much have I saved? Do I have a runway of like 6 months to 1 year? Because anything can go wrong. Look at this event. We made provision for how many people? Anything can happen. I don't know if you understand what I mean. So what is your backup plan? Because that is what life is. So a lot of builders now, you're in church praying, Lord, my business is struggling. Why? Because you don't have the peace of mind. If you had the little savings, the business will not be under so much pressure. By now, you would have had a cushion and you'd have dealt with your business on a very deeper level. But because you quickly went out without information, you're now praying and asking God for guidance for things that should be basic knowledge. Thank you very much for answering that question,
It's a pleasure.
Mr. Sheon. Please put your hands together for him. Builders, let's make this panel powerful. Put your hands together for our panelists. Madam HR herself. Madam HR herself. I would like to ask a question to you, Esther. In this day and age, as a HR professional, let's be very honest, everybody has a side hustle. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Should CEOs encourage it? Should they look the other way and pretend? You know, you see your staff on Instagram doing skits instead of submitting the job for the day, and they're all pursuing their dreams. As a HR manager, there's a fine line. Where are you on this? You hired Builder A to do admin, and they're taking most of their time doing something else. Even though they're performing on the job, let's assume. Is it something that companies are now encouraging, or just like, we have to deal with it, what can we do? What's the perspective on that?
Thank you so much. The former perspective was such that if you get a job, 9 to 5, let's go back to the industrial age, where you had to clock in. The amount of work you did was based on the number of hours you clocked in. It was measured based on hours. But as the ages changed, many employers have not changed. Many employers still work with the mindset of, I own your 9 to 5. Everything you do within that time is mine. However, I learned the change, learned to change my mindset concerning it sometime this year. I've always been a person of integrity who says, if you agree to do something between these hours, you don't do something else. Stick with it and get it done. However, I began to see there was a change in the world itself, in the economy. Things are getting tougher for people, and people need other things to pad their income up if they will be able to stay with you. You then need to come to a realization that if this person is going to survive, and I can't pay this person something that will help this person survive, he needs to be doing something else to hold body and soul together while that is happening. And that is where we are today. Yes, exactly, that's where we are today. Now, if you are an employee and you are not running a side hustle, you are wrong. I'll tell you that plainly. And this is why. The job market is also unstable. There are a lot of things that could go wrong with a company and they downsize. What are you going to do? So I have people on my team who yesterday someone still told me, I do business by the side. I'm like, absolutely fine. I actually look at my staff as people that eventually one day they'll be partner companies to my company. That's how I want them to grow. So if you are here and you're not doing something by the side, you have a big problem. And this is also to employers. The fact that someone is running a side hustle, following a dream, sometimes it's just to get out of the heat of the office environment. If you work with me, it's high pressure. There's a lot to do. We are always thinking. We are always running. So if you have 1 minute to sell clothes away from me, I'm sure you'll be very happy to stay away from that heat. Why should I deprive you of that? There is a balance, though. There is work to be done. Companies and employers need to measure productivity now based on quality and not quantity. What do you want done? Tell us. And however the person wants to get it done, let him get it done. Any other thing he does around that time is not my business to police you. Amazingly, just yesterday this morning, I put up an article about this. When your employees have side hustles, it is like you getting research and development free of charge. This person is the one doing the cleaner, the social media manager, everything for his own business. You can learn what this person is best at by watching that person do that business. And then it helps you reposition, even in your organization, the best place the person can stay in. 2 ways. Employees, don't stay without getting something done. Tomorrow, a new rule can come out, companies shut down. What are you going to do? 2, employers, define your productivity on quantity. Let your KPIs be clear. If you achieve this today, I'm fine. Whatever else they achieve during that day is their business. Give them some time to breathe outside of you. But most importantly, we are not encouraging people not to give to their work what they need to give. Do what needs to be done. I talk about excellence, diligence all the time. It's very important. Whatever you're doing, give your best to your work, but have a backup plan in case something happens.
Please put your hands together for Esther. But Esther, at the same time, I would like to challenge that, okay? I would like to challenge that from the standpoint of you can't serve 2 masters at the same time. There's a season where there is I don't know if I want to call it corporate loyalty to organizations, where you're loyal. Mr. Sheon here owns a company. Dare here owns his own company. SME Mall owns his own company. Are you telling their staff, who are even potentially here, that it is okay for them not to be, quote unquote, exclusively loyal to these firms who are paying them while they're using that time to venture into other businesses? Are you verbatim? You've said it before, but are you verbatim saying that?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
Absolutely not. Which is why I try to paint a balance.
Okay.
When you're being paid to do a task, you're getting into any organization, I said it very clearly, define your KPIs. What am I going to be measured by? Okay, so, and usually, what we do in our organization is every day, every week, we define our set of tasks for the week, we define our set of tasks for the day. What are things we want to achieve today? Once that is in place, it is out. And do you also know, if I should challenge you, there are many tasks that can't be accomplished within work hours that they also need to take extra work hours to do. We don't talk about that part, where they are giving more. We only talk about the part when they are giving less, but it's fine. It's an employer economy. It's fine. But let's be frank about this. There are times, yes, we take more of their time. We demand, I tell my team, if I send a message to the company WhatsApp group during the weekend, after work hours, you are not obligated to reply. And I'm not angry, because it is now after work hours. I respect your hours, but I drop it there so I don't forget. We don't talk about how much they put in. We are quick to talk about how much when they do not give in. Now, that being said, employees, I will always talk about diligence in serving. If you are not diligent in serving other people, who will give you yours to serve, yours to handle? This is it. You have your task for the day or for the week, your deliverables, get it done. As much as possible, if you begin to run a business that is interfering with the one where you've given your word to serve in, then there is a problem. And one of the things I teach my staff is them being employers very quickly. So just because you're also a writer, I start telling my employer, get younger writers that you can start subcontracting to and you can start overseeing. That way, you are still focused on what you need to get done, and you have other people who are doing stuff by your side. Of course, we have our close of work. Once it's 5 o'clock, you're free to get into other things to do. You have your weekends. You have your break, 1 hour during the day. Whatever the case, your side also must not interfere with your main, whatever you're doing as a main job.
Please put your hands together for her. I think I want to leave our esteemed, sponsor. I want to leave you for a few moments. I'll come to you because his session is extremely powerful. He's going to be sharing on a very powerful product with us, and I want us to be able to set, because there's a lot that product encompasses, and I want him to have enough time to talk about it. So I'll just go back to Mr. Dare, okay? So Esther, I don't know, I'm coming back to Esther because we're going to fight. Esther, so you've had someone in your company and they go on LinkedIn and they post their side hustle. You're fine with that? Just yes or no? Yes or no?
No, I'm not. It's
okay,
painful.
so hold on. Just keep that thought.
No, it's painful.
Keep the thought there, Esther. Keep the thought there. We won't be too balanced that there's no black and white. So I hired you to True Flutter, and then on your LinkedIn, we're seeing Your personal brand.
Actually, no. Let me quickly stop you
Wait,
there.
Esther,
Wait, wait, wait.
I'll come to you, Esther. No, I'm
No,
coming back
let
to
me
you.
say this.
Esther, I will come back to you.
No.
But let's even throw it to Dare. Dare,
Sorry, I
how
wish I
would you
could.
feel?
Yeah, I've been itchy to answer that question. So,
Direct question. Your
direct question.
staff
So my
is posting-
co-founder, like my co-founder was also my brother. He had a job, a 9-to-5 job, while he was still working with True Flutter, and he aced his job. He got even promoted so many times to a regional manager in Hall Business School. But he was meeting his KPIs. That's a long and short story of it. While he was still working as a co-founder of True Flutter. Now, a lot of people tend to do multiple things with while they're doing their 9-to-5 jobs, and the 9-to-5 jobs suffer for it. So, how I'll hold my own staff accountable? If you meet your KPIs, that's fine. You can do other things you want to do, but as long as you meet your KPIs that are set for you in the company. I understand a lot of people want more money, want to make more money. I understand there are more demands, but there should be a balance, and if you have a side also and my business suffers, then you're going to be in trouble. That's it.
2-0. Please put your hands together for Mr. Dare. Guys, we are going to the second questions. Put your hands together for him. Dare, you are the CEO and co-founder of one of the biggest dating companies in Africa. People pay to get matched, right? They
Yes,
pay
they do.
on the app,
Yes.
and they pay you for private VIP matchmaking.
Private
okay?
matchmaking, yes.
What do you have to tell someone here who is relying on God, who is having faith, praying, fasting, believing? I'm believing in God for a spouse this year. I'm believing. And they only see taking action as maybe going for weddings, coming for events like this. That's the action that they're taking. And they're in their house, They feel uncomfortable. Like, why do I have to pay a dating platform to match me? Why? What do you have to say about that person in this audience? Because that person is looking at us now in this audience. They're even raising their hands.
No, the husband and wife will magically appear in your bedroom and propose to you. But let me start. That was jokes aside. Let me start with the scripture in the Bible. Faith without works is dead. What we do as a service does not override the faith you have. It's just an addition to the faith you have. God has put a lot of systems in place. When you have a headache, what do you use? You use paracetamol, right? And those are the people that God have given the wisdom to be able to provide this service to you. Now, what we do is help you help you reach your goals faster, help you meet your spouse faster. What we do is something that God even is ordained by God, inspired by God to even build. We're the first dating app in Africa. We're number 3 in Africa after Tinder and Bumble. And what we will do is that, what I will say to you is that you pray for a partner, you visualize wanting to be with a partner, but you need to put action to it. And I'll use Jennifer as an example. When she reached out to us to use our service. Do you know she reached out to 2 other people? So it wasn't only me. It was 3 people she reached out to. And she said, do you know what? I want to put it all in now. And whatever outcome comes, it happens. And it worked with me. She used our service with 2 other people. And she met a partner through us. But what I was trying to say is that she was intentional about it. She was praying, and she was also putting action to it. For instance, now, if you have a business idea and you want to get investment for your company, you create your proposal, you send it out to people to get investment. You just don't wait for the investment to come. God has given you the wisdom and given you the inspiration for the business, but you have to put it out there for people to invest in your company. That's the same way we do what we do at True Flutter. We create a service that's bespoke for you. We curate the matches for you based on your preferences. You will tell us the people you like to meet. You will tell us your deal breakers. You tell us the things that you don't want to even see in a partner, and we do the heavy lifting for you. And one thing I always say is that, like someone said there, a lot of people have this impression that men are scum, women are this, but there are fantastic men out there there are also fantastic women
Yes,
out there.
yes,
The
yes,
society always projects negativity, that marriage is not good, relationships don't work. But I'll tell you for free, relationships work. They are fantastic. I even get mails from guys sending us mails 5 a.m. in the morning that we should find them a spouse. Those are guys that are intentional. Waking up, how can someone wake up and be sending emails 5 a.m. in the morning? Because it's on their mind. And that's why I respect men like that, because they're putting action to what they want and they get the required outcome based on the actions they put. So I would like to encourage everybody, God will not bring your husband or wife in front of you. You need to take action. You need to take that action. And I'm sure if you take that action, there will definitely be a positive result.
Please put your hands together for Dari. And I would like to add to what Dari said on a personal basis. One of the interviews I had with him, he was very clear. So Jennifer, are you tribe agnostic? Tribe agnostic means, must it be an Igbo man, or are you open to any other tribe? Some of you here, your limitation is that you are so rigid on what you want. I was very open. I said I'm open to any tribe, right? As long as the person is the person I'm focused on. Another question, are you agnostic on church? Some people are big on, no, he must be redeemed. He must be from my church, from my village specifically, right? Good luck with that. I was like, he just has to believe and love God, right? I don't care, it's his belief system that matters. There were different questions. Okay, what income level? With the person that you want? Those are the kind of questions that matching companies will ask you. What kind of income level? When you say you want someone that's at a certain income level, they'll ask you, what is your own income level? Because a lot of women are out here being funny. You want someone that, is driving a G-Wagon and you are in a keke napep. No. So as a high-value woman, right, when I say, I wanted someone in this income value, he could see that even him, he cannot match me with anyhow kind of person. Let's be honest. Do you understand? You're not trying to bring an up-and-coming guy that's trying to figure it out with someone like me. That match will not work. You need someone that is strong-willed, strong personality. And you guys have seen my Odogu now. You know how he is. You know how he rolls. So I'm just giving that as an example that there has to be clarity on your checklist. And there has to be a realistic checklist. You're an introvert. You need an extrovert. Don't kid yourself. So if you be quiet in the house, you kill yourself with silence in the house. You need an extrovert. So those are things that, you have to look out for. You are an entrepreneur. You may not need another entrepreneur. My husband is a 9-to-5 peacefully. His 9-to-5 gives us stability and gives me the ability to take all these risks that I'm taking. Imagine both of us are taking risk. It's too much. Do you understand? So these are the little things that you need to put into perspective. It's not, he's a godly man, and my pastor said he's a worker in the church. No, that's such a weak checklist. You must be very clear on your checklist. And I want to say something very controversial, the ASAS topic, right? A lot of people have lost love because of genotype. But guess what? I have friends that were both ASAS and they got married and went and did IVF peacefully. And their children came out AAAA. Let's use knowledge. Let's use science. Everything is not the traditional way of doing things. Just the way dating in the past, there was a traditional way. Now there is a proper and a different way of dating. Please put your hands together for yourself as I go to... You want to add something to it very quickly? Okay.
And I like what she said about ASAS, because a lot of people tend to reach out to us regarding that. And there's one thing I would say. Don't let people make decisions for you on who you love or you need to be with, especially your parents. I'm sorry to say this, because I'll say this, your parents will be alive forever, and you'll be left with the decisions that you made in the past. So it's your decisions that will haunt you. Now, are you with someone that you really like, and some people are opposing it, and you have that conviction that you're sure that this person is the right person? I think you should take the bold step and be with that person, because you're left with your decisions, and your family won't be there forever. And the statistics that will also add to it is that you're going to spend most of your lifetime with your partner, not with your family members. Now, whether you're in your 20s or in your 30s, that's the end. When you get married, you're going to be living in the same house with your husband and your wife, and you're going to spend most of your lifetime with that person. So you should know that he comes first, your partner comes first when it comes to making those decisions. And I'm just trying to advise everybody to make the right decision when it comes to meeting a partner.
Please, that's so. Please put your hands together for him. And the final thing I'll say before I go to Mr. Seun, and I hope you're having fun with this panel. Are you having fun? So one thing I was just going to add is that, you see, we quote-unquote Christians, right? Especially in Nigeria. And this statement might sound quite controversial, but we're one of the most faithless people ever. We don't have spine. Have you not watched white movies? I'm in the room. I'll hear, "Wow," by the corridor. Black man has run away. White man is like, "Who's there?" With the torchlight. "Who's there?" Think about why I'm saying faith. 2 people have seen ASAS and they said no. We're still going to make it work. See, there's levels to this faith. They said, "We're going to do IVF. Let's go and meet a doctor. There must be something we can do." But you met the person you loved and just said, "No, I don't think I want that." Or tribe, or whatever factor. They see problems. People that are non-Christians or not, you understand, they see problems and they quickly look for an innovation to solve it. But we walk away. Our faith is on other things. And it's time for us to relook how we even see faith. Faith is jumping into the unknown. Me marrying in the Yoruba tribe was me jumping. I'm the first to marry in the Yoruba tribe in my family. Everybody was looking at me like, Yoruba. You know Igbos and Yorubas, there's that? But when I stood my ground and said, no, I know what I'm getting into, and relax, Shebi is me that is inside. I know my own facts, and I'm going to prove everybody that intertribal marriage is going to be very successful. So at the end of the day, you could easily have walked away because your mom squeezed her face, like Darius said. Is it your mom that will marry your husband for you or marry your wife for you? So it's a plunge of faith. You have all the checklists. Some people will be very good on paper, but when they enter the same house with you, it's terrible. There are so many other issues to deal with other than, some other issues. Now I want to talk to Seun. Seun, a lot of people talk about investments, but they don't talk about debts. And this is a society that does not like debts. You hear Nigerians talk about, "This year I didn't borrow money from anybody. No bank, I didn't borrow money from anybody. I'm sitting down like this. I'm not owing." But guess what? If you read Femi Otedola's book, I love that book. The man said, "I was owing GTB 90 billion. Then I was owing Zenith Bank how many billion?" And proudly talking about the debt, because they look at it as leverage. They don't look at it as debts. Okay? If you were to start all over again now, Seun, and you need to will you go the route of taking debt, or will you go the route of going to just get fresh equity into your business? So the first question is 2 questions. 1, what's your take on educating us here on debt? That's 1. And second is, if you were to start all over again with 10 million naira, how much would you take in debt or in equity, and how will you multiply that money over a year using different instruments? Did I complicate that question? Did I complicate it? I complicated the question. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Question number 1, what is your take on debts?
Thank you very much, Jen. I think when it comes to debt in Nigeria, it's more of a cultural construct. Our culture makes it very, maybe kind of like funny to take debt. But if you look at the West, right, they teach them these things in school, and it's called capital structure, right? So when you start a business, you must have a capital structure. And there's even something called a cap table. So a cap table speaks to who brought in what to start the business. You don't expect that you would have all the money to start the business. I mean, look at the most successful companies in the world today. Google, Facebook, Microsoft, even Apple. At some point in time, they had to raise money, right? But the most important thing you need to know is when you set out your business, you must have a plan for your capital structure. And this is very important because you want to have a level of decision making in order to achieve the vision of your business. So let me give you an analogy, for instance. If you want to set up a business now and you need, let's say, 100 million naira, right? right now you have 40 million naira to do that business, right? That means you need 60 million naira more, right? That means you're going to dilute 60% of your shares if you are going for equity. If you do that, you are giving that 60% a controlling stake of your business, right? And for me, in finance, equity is more expensive than debt, right? So you have to have a mezzanine or a mix of both equity and debt when you are raising capital. So if you are more concerned about control than expansion, then you might be looking more to raise debt over equity. So the 60 million naira you're looking for now, you now decide the structure of how you want to design your capital flow for your business. So if control is very important for you, then you are looking more for debt. And I'll tell you, in the long term, equity is more expensive. Though, if we want to make reference to Nigeria today, I mean, our MPR is about 27%. That's our benchmark rate. And obviously, from that stems all the other rates we see in the market, both from the traditional commercial banks or the microfinance banks that charge about 4% flat. I mean, those are not very good monies for business because it is going to drain your gross margins. But let me just go a bit more, granular. So the 60 million now, you want to have control of your business, you look more to raise debt than equity. I mean, Dangote is going to come, Dangote Refineries is coming to the market next year, and they are only going to be issuing 10% of their equity in the market. And one of the reasons for this is because they still want to have a large chunk of controlling shares of their company so that decision making will be faster, easier, and then they'll probably be able to achieve the visions they set out for the business. So debt is actually very good, right? But it has to be properly managed as well. So there has to be a lot of discipline in capital management because most people take loans and they're not concerned about the interest rate they're going to pay. The first thing they're thinking about is buying a new car after taking a loan. I mean, once you start off like that, you're going to fail because you're not being efficient with the capital you raise. So debt is very good, but if it's not properly managed, it could also be very disastrous because you can end up losing your business, to a very bad loan. The banks will take collateral from you, and even other investors might actually have a lien on some of your assets. And if you don't use the capital effectively and you lose the money, then you lose this asset. But I'll even tell you something, right? If you set out to go out and take a loan from an investor, and you keep very good records of how you use that money to set up a business, and for some reasons the business failed. Sometimes investors are willing to either refinance you if they see the potential, or just let go of the lien that they put on that loan, because they actually consider sincerely you wanted to execute this business in a proper way. You took the loan, but you were unable to scale because maybe for some unforeseen contingencies like COVID. COVID happened and a lot of businesses went on the ground during COVID because there was no markets, no sales, everyone was indoors, right? So, I mean, in all of this, don't be scared to take loans. I'm not saying you should just go out and take loans without having a proper structure, but what really suits your market, what suits the purpose of what you are taking those loans for. So, I mean, debt is very good, but you must be very disciplined in how you use this debt in your business, how you use it to, shape up your capital structure, and how you use the money to implement your revenue expansion and your sales expansion.
Thank you very much. Please put your hands together for Sheil. I want to say something very interesting that I picked out from what he said. The first thing is that we lack debt education in this part of the world first. Secondly, we have very expensive debts, right? That it doesn't make any sense. And as much as debt will always trump equity, equity is patient money to a very large extent. So whoever, I would feel a lot of times, you're like, I don't want to give control of my business. I don't want to lose equity. See, 0% of, sorry, 1% of a, how was that example that they use? 10% of a company that is doing 1 million naira, or 10% of a company that is doing $1 billion. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
The percentage is the percentage, but one company is doing more. So as much as you're trying to hold on to control, it's also important that we are very, very smart about it, okay? And very prudent about it. The next question I was asking you, Sheon, is you are starting from the scratch. Sheon, I just beat you up. You are standing on the road, no car, no house, nothing. Just this your lovely outfit that you're wearing and your glasses to see. All you have is your phone. Sheon, how are you going to start again? No office, nothing. How are you going to start again? Step by step.
To be honest, this is even my office right here.
Your
I
phone is
spend
your
more
office.
time on my phone, yeah, because I'm on a lot of groups chatting with people.
Can't hear you. Can you just put your
Oh
phone?
yeah. So this is my office really. My setup is only for regulatory compliance. I mean, and then maybe to also empower people as well. I do most of my work on my phone. You know, it's really
So
everything.
you are on the road now, showing nothing, account zero, everything zero, 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 zero. How will you start again?
Okay, so
Because there are a lot of builders here, like let's assume they're from the scratch. What would be your playbook to start again?
So me and Dari, we were having a conversation before we started this session, and I was trying to get his understanding of a Yoruba adage. I'll say it in Yoruba, and I'll say it in English. He said, "Owo ma tan, iyan lo ma ku." So your money will finish, and what's left is you or the person. So literally, to me, it means that, you know, when money finishes, what is left is your person, like your integrity. But also, it also means that when your money finishes, right, people you know, your network, is actually your wealth. So I think if I run out, God forbid, if I believe my network can always, you know, I can always leverage on my network based on the relationship I've had with these people, right? It won't be so difficult, but it won't be that easy.
Let's go step by step, Sheon.
So-
What was your first call to who and what? So you call, what's the first thing you're going to say? Are you saying, please, can you borrow me some money to get back into the capital markets and do a trade? Or are you, what's the approach?
So what I would do really is to leverage on their platform, right?
Explain that.
Because if I borrow money, what am I going to use to pay back? That's the problem. I'm taking a loan on, you know, expected revenue that might not come. But if I leverage on my relationship, knowing that you have orders to buy and sell, right? Because that's what I do. I'll look for a good pricing for you. You know, in the first question you asked me, when I said you must always be able to bring something to the table, right? What I'm bringing to the table for my people is going to be my skill to execute transactions for them. I don't have any money, but I have a skill.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
Put your hands together for Sheon.
So
Put your hands together for Sheon.
because I've spent time to gain that knowledge, to have that skill, it's very important, and it's also going to generate me more revenue.
I love what Sheon said. So I was just also visualizing myself that everything was over. What are you going to do? Are you going to go borrow money? Who are you going to talk to get yourself out of that situation? For some people, Sheon, I think you can consider getting that job. So I think you should call that guy back. Those people that have been reaching out to you and say, please, that job you talked about, can I get it again and start again? Because I feel like sometimes you feel you need to start another business.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be, like, you have to just take a few steps back
Mm-hmm.
and re-strategize. And he said, look, I won't start a business again. I won't do any debt. I will go and say, you have trades. Let me connect you. So you'll be a broker, basically.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying now happened to me in 2017.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I actually resigned, right? And when I resigned, I was like, you know, I was doing my own thing. I had clients, talking to them, executing trades for them. But it was not up to the level I wanted, because my previous job obviously was paying me well. And with this, you know, person or these people I was talking to, doing trades for them, it wasn't giving me assurance. It doesn't come. I cannot, you know, forecast on it. It might come, it might not come. This one might be good, the next one might not be good. So what I just did was I positioned myself and I poached the managing director of a firm, of a company, actually, and I sold them an idea of how to set up, a trading desk for them. And it was consistent persistence, right? If I can use that word. And over time, he bought into it, and we went with it, and that's how, everything just started going up from there. So it's not something that I've not experienced before, but the moment you know you have a skill, you must be able to sell that skill, right? So whatever skill you're acquiring now in any field you are, it must be something that can generate you revenue, right? And that is what is very, very important if you want to stay afloat, if you want to stay relevant, and if you want to also, look into building an empire of a business that you've already put in all your energy into. So the skill you gain, the knowledge you gain is very, very important to keep you relevant and keep you afloat.
Please put your hands together for Seun. I will now go to Mr. Oliza. Mr. Oliza of SME Mall. Please put your hands together for Mr. Oliza. SME Mall is one of our sponsors for today's event. And my question to you is, you have a product that you're promoting today. What is that product about for a business that is sitting down here? Give us details of the benefits of that product.
Oh, hi, everybody. My name is Olisa from the SME Mall. So the solution I'm here to talk about is the business health checker called BHC. So it's, in order not to waste your time, it's sort of like a pocket consultant. Is the first phase you go to when you want to check if your business is compliant with regulatory needs, your HR is done properly, your accounting also, advisory, technology, and everything. Just an end-to-end platform to see how your business is doing. So it positions your firm for, say, to be funded. It structures your firm in a way that, after taking your test and solutions are preferred, it enables if you're loan ready, growth ready, scalable, or just doing absolute nonsense. That's what the product is. That's what my product does for you. Yeah, so it's called the BHC, the Business Health Checker, basically.
Thank you so much. Put your hands together for him. We've come to the last phase of this panel because we're rushing to now our final session. I'll ask Esther a question, one last question, and then we'll do a final run through if that's okay. Esther, we are now in the age of AI. And AI can be a friend or can be an enemy. It is almost irritating how I see some messages and emails that are so clearly, it's like everybody has suspended their brains when it comes to using AI. Like there's no intelligence. I'm doubting every message I receive in my life now because I'm like, and please guys, if you're going to go on a date with someone, please go on a physical date to talk, because any chat they are chatting with you, they've gone to vet it on ChatGPT. Even every interview you want to do, please aim for virtual video interview. And even with the video interview, there will be a script at the back of their screen. Like everybody is just regurgitating AI, ChatGPT, and just having no authenticity. What is your take on this as a HR person? Like, how are we hiring these days now, knowing that this is a big issue? From your cover letter to your CV, to everything, to your responses to all the emails, everything is AI. So what does that look like?
Okay, so when we talk about AI and recruitment, employment, AI itself is not the problem. Actually, I would expect that in an AI age, you should have some expertise in maneuvering the use of AI. So we're in the AI age, for instance, and your CV is still looking like something written in 1970. I am not going to employ you. It's very simple. You just go there and structure your CV using GPT. It's tidy. But this is where the difference is then going to be. Everyone is going to do that. Everyone is doing that. What's going to make you different? What's going to separate you from the rest is then what you are in the content. Because even the guys who are handling the AI thing are saying that with the way people are depending on this thing to churn out content, very soon we'll be having a recycling of even worse content. And there's something with AI. If you regenerate something consistently, it turns into something very far from where you started from. So as all of us continue to go there and say, write me a cover letter, and he does, and we keep going back, very soon we'll be far from where we thought we were before. So how are you going to differentiate yourself? Don't depend only on AI. Don't suspend your brain. As you go over there to do things, learn from it. Let it be like a crutch, not your legs. Don't cut off your legs for AI. You need to use it as a crutch. Learn what you need to learn from it. However, then you need to build things that AI can never have. There are skills that you need to have as humans. There are the persuasive skills you need to have, that you need to, in talking to people, empathy. You need reasoning skills. So people can't even think through things anymore. Because of AI, you just say, what do I say next? What do I say next? And you think that's helping your brain. Everybody, I must tell you that there are millions of other people doing the same thing. And on the day when we want to recruit, and I've seen your CV, it looks tidy, I'm fine with that. And then I get to talk to you, and you depend on a script. We have a big problem. In our recruitment process, there are different ways we screen applicants who are reading scripts, who are reading from pre-recorded answers, who are typing while they are answering questions. We see all of you. As they're asking questions, they're typing. We see everything. All these things are just signals of emptiness that has come up as a result of over-reliance on AI. Dig deep. Study. There's no age will ever enter where study will become irrelevant. Dig deep. Build yourself. And then use AI as an assistant to make you a better person. It's in very much many years ago, there are things you couldn't communicate as clearly as you would have wanted to. Now, AI makes it easy. Does that mean that I don't improve myself anymore? No. I just add it to what I have and continue to be a better person with it.
Thank you so much, Esther. As we round up this panel session, let's just go around, starting from Mr. Oliza. 30 seconds, your last message, and we just go around.
Hi, hello everybody. So it's important for us to all have our business compliant, properly registered, do our proper due diligence every time. I'm talking about the small business. It's important we also take our business from unstructured to structured. Now this is what the Business Health Checker and the SME More at Large can help you do. So I have a few people around with QR code stickers, so feel free to scan the QR codes. Yeah, that's my guy. Feel free to scan the QR codes, take your test, we'll get a report, we'll be in contact with you, tell you on next steps to get your business structured and up to date. And again, about your accounting, it's important you also go through it, so we'll have a look at your accounting. It's tax season in January, so you don't fall short. You don't fall short and have the government taking everything that belongs to you. Thank you very much.
Okay, two things. Number one, based on the last conversation we had on side also. Number one, understand yourself. Not everyone can manage multitasking. Jennifer talked about her husband being the stable one. That's the same thing with me. I'm a high-risk taker. My husband is the stable one. 9 to 5, does it very well. If you are a 9 to 5 who can't multitask, then what you should be gunning for is becoming a part owner of your company. It's not always everyone who can do entrepreneurship. I should say that. So calm down. If it's not meant for you, you're doing it, you are messing up your job that you're being paid for, stop it and act and work towards becoming a part owner of where you are at. That's number one. Number two, for applicants, employees, we need a Joseph in the room to help us stand before the king. There are many jobs you will never get if you don't work with people who can hold you through the process of finding a good job, finding a better job, and transitioning careers. And that's where the Builders community has decided that let's put together the Builders career, where we'll help people find jobs. And this is not, there are jobs flying everywhere. And there are many things you're doing wrong, which makes it impossible for you to find the right opportunity. If I analyze a lot of you, you will find out where you've gone wrong. The Builder's Career is here to take you from where you are to where you should be with the different packages that we have put together to ensure that 2026 comes and everyone has a testimony or a shifting, a transformation in their career, and even some other things that come with it. If you need more information, we are on the table at the back there. You can meet with us and we'll put you through all the things you need. But remember, if you could do it, tell me, how is it working? Oh, tell me. Is it working well? If it is not working well, they say it's a fool who does the same thing every time and expects a different result. Thank you.
That's amazing. Thank you, Esther. Sheon, final word.
When I walked into this place today, I was really excited. Honestly, I wish we spoke earlier. I was telling Dari because energy was dropping. Because I really wanted to explain a lot of things to people here today. And I think I can still give a snippet of what I would have loved to discuss. You know, we are the next generation. We're the ones next up to make the change for this country.
Sheon, microphone.
Okay, yeah. We're the ones next up to make the change in this country. And it's so sad that an average Nigerian adult between the age of 18 to 40 doesn't know the potential of the capital markets in Nigeria, right? Because there's so much space for growth and so much potential for income generation. I mean, we see guys from Japan, from South Korea, and all these countries with very low interest rates come into Nigeria as foreign portfolio investors. I'm talking about 24-year-olds, 25-year-olds, cashing out millions of dollars, right? Whereas we have Nigerians here that don't even know what is going on here in Nigeria. We have very high interest rates. We repay our loans on time. I mean, the government has never defaulted, right? And I hear an average Nigerian saying, I want to buy Apple stock. I want to buy dollar. I'm like, what are you talking about? Your interest rate here is very high. You can make so much money from it. But I understand where the gap is. There is no capital for young people in Nigeria. So I've always thought about, a possibility of, people coming together, putting funds together and putting investments in capital markets. And let me tell you why this is a very good solution. Because in the capital markets, you have all the industries. If you want to invest in pharmaceuticals, you can invest in the capital market. If you want to invest in real estate, you can buy REITs. You don't really have to own a property because what you are looking at owning and getting from your investments is cash flow and also interest. So the capital market gives an opportunity for all of us here, to be very rich. And, I've learned that wealth is not just about money now, so I'll use that word rich, right? And we don't know that potential. We're not really tapping into that potential. But I think over the next couple of months into next year, there will be a lot of initiatives that would actually enlighten younger people to see the potential in this market. And I hope I'll be part of those people that will be instrumental to make that happen and make people also participate more in the capital market. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sheon. And lastly, Dari.
Thank you so much. I'm going to touch on a few things. Firstly, I'd like to touch on what Jennifer does. It's a phenomenal job. I'm a firm believer of visualizing your dreams, changing your mindset, and re-engineering your mind. I'm a firm believer of that. And look at what that helps you do. If you visualize who you want to become, whenever you reach some certain obstacles in life, you know that this is not where you're meant to be. You've already visualized the outcome, and you keep going. And that's a typical example of True Flutter. When we started, the odds were stacked against us. First of all, first dating app in Nigeria, would it ever work? Some people will say, are you sure your company will die in 1 year? Those people were actually literally telling me these things to my face. Right now, we have 30 million matches, over 150 weddings. And we've just scratched the surface because what I saw at the inception is not even where we're at now. Where we're at is total global domination. Biggest African dating app in the world. And that's what I saw when I visualized it. That's what I saw in my mindset. And that's what keeps me going. So in terms of the mindset, I would advise everybody to really apply for this. It's really phenomenal. That's my mindset shift. That's how it's been. Regardless of any obstacle I face, and trust me, we faced a lot of obstacles. No matter what obstacle I come across, I know it's just a phase, and we know we have higher places we're going to. In terms of that, in terms of relationships, I would say be more deliberate when it comes to looking for a spouse. You know, being deliberate will create doors for you, will make you meet the right people. Don't say that God will just come and do it for you. Faith, like I said earlier, faith without works is dead. So you need to put in the work, and you need to, basically put in the work to get the result you need. And one last thing I would always say, in terms of visualization, so pardon me if I say this a lot of times. Have you noticed that the movies you watched in your late 80s, there's some sci-fi movies you saw that you thought that those things that you saw in those movies could never happen. But now you are seeing it happen, you see it play out right now in real life. Let's give you an instance. iRobot. iRobot was done by Will Smith like over 15 to 20 years ago with all those cars. It seemed like it was far-fetched. It seemed like a pipe dream. Right now, Elon Musk has created things like that. Right now, the AI race is like that. Now, what I'm trying to tell you that the movie that you saw 20 years ago was as a result of someone's visualization, someone's mindset, and creating those things. Even though we couldn't grasp it then, you couldn't think that it was going to be a reality. Now it's become a reality. And that's what a mindset shift can do to you. So going forward, we need to be able to visualize ourselves as being bigger than where we are, and visualize where we want to be. And trust me, you'll be able to achieve it if you can just visualize it. Thank you.
Please put your hands together for Dare. As we conclude this panel, True Flutter is outside, Hands on Deck Consulting is outside, SME Mall is outside. Connect with them for any type of business engagement, and you're going to have a fantastic time. Please let's just get up and take a quick picture.